Okay, this time you probably won't come through. Sorry about that, everyone. So this is a show where we talk about science and technology and nature and the environment, all while playing Minecraft, all within a lab, an education lab at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences called the Viz Lab, a real place that you can visit for free. The entire museum is free. The lab is free. We do have special events and classes, and we do summer camps and all sorts of things like that. In the lab itself, we teach about technology like 3D printing, electronics, robotics, circuit design, computer programming, and we'll teach you as well. You can sign up for classes like that in real life. But you can also come visit us and talk to us. So what we do with this stream is we pick a topic and we go within Minecraft to talk about that topic. And while we're talking about it, you can also ask any questions or add any comments that you might have. And then we will work on a build. So what are we building? We are building the museum itself. You saw some photographs earlier. Let me show it again real quick. We are working on building this museum at 1-to-1 scale. And when we're done with it, we will put it online for you to download as well, so you can get to watch the process. I'm going to go ahead and get into it, and we will start now. I'm actually going to start with an addendum. Hold on. Get it up here. There. Okay, I'm going to start with an addendum. I want to start where we last left off. In the last episode, we were talking about fireflies. And there are a couple things that I meant to talk about that I forgot to talk about. So let me go back to where I know there are some fireflies. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we're back with the fireflies. So there are a couple of things I forgot to talk about that I really wanted to add. Firstly, I didn't show you any images of fireflies. I'm sure most people know what they look like, but maybe there are some that don't. So let me show you real quick here. PowerPoint. Another great picture of our museum there. Right here. There we go. So there it is, the little beetle. You can see in a good night shot of the underside of it bioluminescing. And then I wanted to show you a real video of them bioluminescing, because all you saw when we played it was the Minecraft version. But this is what they really look like. So this is the type like what we have here, at least locally in a triangle. There's another type that we talked about before called synchronous fireflies that will synchronize their flashing as part of their strategy. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about with these guys is threats that they face, because they do have their own concerns that they have to worry about. So they need an environment that is moist, they need grasses, and they need a clean environment. So pollution will affect them adversely, but the other thing that will affect them that we don't think about is light pollution. Light pollution will affect them. If you turn on a light or like headlights of cars going by will interrupt the patterns of the other fireflies and confuse them, so it can make it make it more difficult for them to find each other. And I think that's all I wanted to add to that. So let me get back into Minecraft here. If anyone has any extra questions about it, just let us know. And I'm gonna go back. Are you still at the museum, Audrey?
I am still at the museum. Hi.
And now I am too. And do you want to, where do you want to start to talk about today's topic?
Well, we could go to the nearby jungle. We
Okay.
could go to our big greenhouse that we
Okay.
built.
I'll follow you.
I don't
Um,
remember where that is. I didn't
I,
put it
I'm,
on the map.
okay. I think I have the location. Let's see here.
I want to say it's
Yes.
near Capybara Island, but I don't remember.
I don't know. I do have the location, so here we go. Wonder if there's anything left inside of it. Okay, I am there.
Okay,
Oh yeah. Oh, it's
so
not
we
devoid
are
of life.
still planning on. Oh, there are creatures in there.
Yeah, look at that.
But we're still planning on making an eco station, research station, eventually, for this nearby jungle. Nearish by jungle to the museum. But the one of the disappointing things about the wildlife in Minecraft is that there is only one tropical bird, which is the parrot, which is lovely. I love the parrot. It's a great mob. But there are so many tropical birds all over the world. And today we are going to talk about a bird that we have a little exhibit on here in the museum, specifically in our living conservatory, which is the titular rainforest room of this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about it later. But the orapendula is a very cool bird that weaves these beautiful hanging teardrop shaped nests. And they're a very gregarious and charismatic kind of bird. So I will be modeling one of their nests and modeling the bird themselves in Blockbench today after we talk a little bit about oh, where did Matt go? Okay. So we'll have Blockbench. I'll be using Blockbench, and then Matt will be working on Minecraft proper, on real Minecraft, building the room itself. So no challenge today, but just chatting about creatures and modeling a bird.
Okay. Here, let me show a picture of the bird. And why is it that why this bird in particular?
Well, there's a couple of main reason is that this is the bird that we have an exhibit about, but this is also because this is one of the many very charismatic birds that I have met in Latin America. So this specific one is the crested orapendula, which is what I'm going to be modeling. There are a bunch of different kinds of orapendulas, but the crested orapendula has the largest range, and the one that I met, the first orapendula I ever met, was one of these crested orapendulas, and it was a subspecies of this bird in Trinidad, that is only on the island of Trinidad. So they have a specialized call that's really, really loud. And they have this red banding on the top of their wings that you can kind of see in that picture. This is one of the ones from Trinidad. But I've also seen them in the Amazon, and the ones in the Amazon aren't quite as colorful as the ones in Trinidad. But you can kind of see there's a little bit of a crest on the top. It kind of looks like an extra feather sticking off the back of his head. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to model that in Blockbench, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay. Yes, and here I'll also show we have the exhibit that it's from. It's from a very special exhibit. It's much more than an exhibit. This is, a lot of people call it the butterfly room, and the thumbnails calling it the rainforest room, but this space is called the Living Conservatory. And the Living Conservatory inside the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences is a replica of a rainforest, probably in South America. It contains lots of different types of butterflies, and it has a turtle, and it has tarantulas, and it also has a two-toed sloth, which is probably the most famous living creature here at the museum. You can't see it very well in this photograph, which is very apt because you usually can't see very much of it in real life unless it's feeding time. And I think those times are posted because it spends most of its time just kind of napping, slothing around as a sloth is wont to do. So it is in this photograph. It would be over on the, let's see. Oh, you can see my cursor. Cool. It's right over here. So this is its little climbing area. And then it has a little.
I can't see your cursor.
Box. You can't see my cursor?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I see it on there. I see it
Oh,
on
wait,
the
no,
screen.
now I see it. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that's where it is. That little bulge there, that's actually it. So this is a really cool room. It's not open. You have to check the hours on the museum website because it's not open every hour that the museum is open. But you can go in and get a tour, and you can read everything and talk to the people who work there. It is really, really cool, and it has like a little waterfall type feature. It is a very great space to visit. And so the bird that Audrey is going to be modeling in Blockbench is right here. Now, let me zoom in a little bit. Right there in the center there. There's the little Orapendula. And next to it, what are these little things? Those are its nests.
Yeah, those are the
talk about that a little bit, Audrey?
The fancy teardrop shaped nests that I'm also going to be modeling. I'll model a couple of those. Now, like all birds, they only live in those nests when it's breeding time. So they only make those nests during the breeding season, and the rest of the time they just sort of hold on to a branch and fall asleep. But during breeding time, they are colonial birds, so they live in colonies of up to 100 birds, all in one tree. They're upper canopy birds, so they're way up high in the upper canopy. And they like to be on the edges of things. So if you go to Trinidad and you want to see one of these birds, one of the best places to see them is like in parking lots next to forests, because they like to be in lone tall trees on the edge of the jungle.
That makes sense.
So they like a lot of sunshine, and they like a lot of isolation.
So it might be that, or like where there's a stream or a river.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Other clearing kinds of areas. They have a dominant male with a group of females. So you would have just the one male, and then that male would breed all of the many females in the nest.
Is it the females that make the nest or the male?
They make them together.
Oh, they do.
So they work
nice.
together.
Okay.
And so specific females will lay in a nest, but multiple females might work on the same nest.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we get right into, I'm going to get in the museum, and Audrey's going to get into Blockbench, and I'm going to attempt to show both at the same time. So I'm going to be moving windows around a little bit. I apologize to get this to look good. Oh, I can just do that. That's cool. Okay, so back to the museum. Let's see here. Get my coordinates. Should have these memorized by now. And again, Audrey and I are Science Museum curators. If you are just joining us and any questions about science, nature, technology, maker style stuff, this is the place to ask. Put your questions or comments in the chat or in the comment section after this has aired, and we will do our best to answer them for you. Okay, so I ended up teleporting to, I'm at the 4th floor of the Nature Research Center. Again, this is a real museum that we're trying to make as accurate as possible using blueprints. I need to go over to the other building. Here's the here's our lab. This is the Viz lab here. Let's see if our little friend is still in here. Audrey used Blockbench to make this printer here. This is one of our 3D printers. This would be a Prusa printer. Anyone who knows anything about 3D printers will recognize this orange as being a Prusa printer. We also have, I don't see it here, I must have despawned. Let me bring Chip in here. This was our first robot, the first robot I ever made, which now lives in the lab and you can visit. This is Chip, the autonomous Arduino Uno powered robot. It's a real robot. Here it is. So that is this. Arduino powered robot, which we can talk about, but also if you come here, you can see it in action and we can talk about it. And you can even take one of our robotics classes and learn how to build one similar to that. Oh, and before I leave this, let me show you, I can show you a picture of the lab itself. I don't do this often on the stream, but I really should every time. So you know where we're streaming from. Here we go. There's 2 parts to the lab. This is the makerspace. This is where I am right now, where we are right now. The other side of it, the majority of it, is this. Exhibits, digital exhibits for the public to walk around and interact with. Yeah, so there it is, Nature Research Center. It's a great place. Come visit sometime. Okay, so now I need to travel over to the Nature Exploration Center. Close Chip in there. Nature Exploration Center to where the Living Conservatory is. And then I will get Audrey's screen up as well so that you can see her developing in Blockbench for our custom mod. That is, just ignore that character. No questions. Okay. There's the back of it. That's what I'm going to be working on. But coming around here to the, oh, there's a cicada. Oh, geez. Around to the front of it. There's the front of it. Right now it's empty, but Audrey's going to be working on filling it up. So now let me get both of our screens showing here. Stand by. Let's see here. Turn that off. Turn that on. Do this differently next time. Okay, and then Audrey's Blockbench. Okay. Cool. All right, so I'm going to crop out your sidebars. So they're just going to see the work area that you're working in, which I think is okay.
Yep. Eventually I will need, I mean, you'll see my textures if I'm going to be painting textures, but
okay.
I'm not doing that quite yet. I'm starting from completely fresh. I have not done anything on this.
This is a really cool 3D modeling program. Do you want to talk about it a little bit while you're doing it, Audrey?
Yeah, so this is Blockbench. It is designed specifically for making low poly models, and it was originally built for making Minecraft models, for fans to make Minecraft models. We use it for a bunch of Minecraft stuff. But it's also useful for other low poly models if you want to make other low poly models. It is exclusively cubes and rectangular prisms. So you can only use a cube or a rectangular prism. You can't use anything else. You can put those at different angles sometimes. It depends on the kind of thing that you're creating. So I am using the Java block system, which means that it'll be a JSON file. And those files only allow you to have angles at like every 22 point something degrees. So they don't let you choose every angle, and they only let you do angles at certain what's the word? In one plane. But it's a very simple program. It's easy to learn. I like it a lot for just learning basic 3D modeling skills. So I'm gonna start out with that bar there is just a stick, and I'm basing it kind of on the Minecraft parrot, but not super closely, because the Minecraft parrot has a very parroty beak, which of course the Aura pendula, as you can see from the picture, does not have a blunt beak like that. Their beak is very strong, but it's also pokey because they love nectar. They love nectar and they love bugs, so they're less seed aficionados than parrots are. So parrots really like all sorts of things. They like fruits and they like bugs and all sorts of things. They're definitely omnivores, but they don't drink much nectar because their beaks aren't very good at getting into flowers, because they've got those short little super strong beaks.
Maybe I will leave that.
So Blockbench is one of the three main modeling programs that we use here in the lab. So Blockbench is our low poly system, and then we also use Tinkercad, which is a free online program that we use to teach people. All of our classes we teach Tinkercad. And then the other huge thing that we use is Blender, and that's what we use for almost everything. And Blender is a lot more complicated than something like Tinkercad or Blockbench. I am trying to rename as I go, because it is important if I ever figure out how to get these to animate properly, and if and in order for the textures to come through correctly, it's important to have groups and folders for your pieces. It's hard to talk and make stuff at the same time. I don't know how Matt does that for the museum itself.
just need to print out some of the blueprints here. Printer, print.
The other thing I like about Blockbench is that it has a built-in reference image. What are you trying to get? It's making the printing sounds.
Shrink this down a little bit now. This is the conservatory. Oh, this is actually the exit. I should go in through the entrance. So just like in any good butterfly conservatory, any space that has a butterfly room, you walk into a smaller room before you actually go into the main room. And that way it's harder for the butterflies to escape, and there'll be mirrors in there so that you can look at your front and back, make sure none have landed on you. Come in, and this all needs plants. There's a little pond here with a little turtle in it. This is like a really cool rock feature with plants and epiphytes growing in them. The tarantula exhibit is here. This is where the sloth is, and Audrey's actually made a sloth. It isn't animated yet, but she has made a sloth, and it looks really great. It'll go in here. And then this is the exit. And you would check yourself here to make sure no butterflies are hanging on to you. I think what we're going to do is when this building is done, I'll see if we can export this as a standalone mod, and maybe see if we can get it online somewhere when this room is completed, because you'll be able to at least have a little piece of the museum before the whole thing is done. All right, let me grab those blueprints. There we go. Oh, they didn't. Jeez. They printed weird. These days, I'm better with a 3D printer than a paper printer. No, it'll be okay. They're just too small. There. Perfect. Found my blueprint. Okay. All right, so behind the living conservatory, there is what is called the this area here is called the arthropod zoo, I believe. And I need to get some pictures of that up too, so for my own reference. So let me do that. That's not here. Arthropod Zoo. Anyone can't hear me well or something seems odd, just as always.
I can hear just fine on the stream.
That's right, you're always monitoring. I'm traveling. I'm looking at some photographs here. Okay. All right, so I'll start with white blocks, but I'll probably end up changing them.
I don't like that beak that I just...
Don't like what?
The beak that I just made.
Oh, I see it. Let's try this. This section here is a very strange shape, so I'm going to be modeling and remodeling, no doubt. No doubt. Maybe 2. And I'm just going to have to gonna be making a lot of compromises with this build as always. A lot of compromise. Is that gonna work? That's not gonna work, is it? Okay. This is such a strange area.
Alright, I like that beak a lot better.
Let's see, there's several aquariums over here. No, let's probably, I'm gonna have to do this. It cannot be the strange shape that it is. It's not gonna work.
Matt, what's your favorite creature in the arthropod zoo?
In where?
In the arthropod zoo.
Oh, the arthropod zoo. I guess there's a, maybe the lobster.
I like the lobster.
There's a live lobster in this building. There's also a live lobster here in the Nature Research Center. But the lobster is really great because it's even if it's just sitting there, it's pretty animated. And if you look at it, it looks like it's looking back at you and thinking things. What about you?
I think I really like the mole crickets.
Yes, I haven't seen any mole crickets around here, but I've seen them in the wild in Florida. I assume we have them.
Yes, there are some at Prairie Ridge.
Oh yeah. They're great. I mean, you don't usually see them because they don't usually come up above the ground. Hence the name. They are fantastic. What I see a lot of here, let me double check that I am correct about this name. Yes. Oh, no. Well, close. Keep calling them cave crickets, but they're camel crickets. Those have started to come out, and I see them I mean, it's easy to find them in dark spaces, but they'll come out just like onto the road, onto the sidewalks at night. Those are great crickets. I don't know if we have
ones
any.
that we have here in the U.S. are almost exclusively invasive nowadays.
What is?
The camel crickets.
Oh, are they?
Oh. So there were native camel crickets, but they have been pretty much entirely outcompeted by the invasive species. Jeez. And it kind of happened without anybody noticing.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Because it's an urban species, they aren't as well researched as a lot of other insects. It's kind of like cockroaches.
Yeah.
People really only care about cockroaches when it comes to getting them out of your house.
Yeah. Another good one is drain flies. Cool little. I think they're moths. That or they're very much like a moth. Okay, this is closer to what it is in real. Very strange.
There's some sort of music playing, I think.
What's that?
There's some sort of music playing, I think.
There should be some faint background music.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure that was on purpose, unlike the Capybara stream.
Yeah, I've been trying to play with the audio settings, and now unfortunately I think I messed up a bunch of them. So I apologize to anyone who's listening and it sounds weird. I'll get it sorted out before the next stream. Which will probably be like next Tuesday at the earliest. So this arthropod zoo, let's see, what all does it have here? You know what? I can do something cool. I can give you all a virtual tour of it without getting up. So hold on to your seats. Let me get my browser going here. browser. There we go. Okay, so sciences. It's a virtual tour. So this is something you all can do as well. Virtuals. This is what I want, right? Yes. Okay. On the museum website, naturalsciences.org, if you just Google virtual and self-guided tours, you can do this too. So let me give you a quick walk around the arthropod zoo. Okay. All right. So this is the, first of all, let me back up over here. Oh, this is weird. This area here, this is the living conservatory. This is a cafe, and then living conservatory is here, and then the arthropod zoo starts over here. This little window. There's the tree here. This is where the sloth is. And there, arthropod zoo. So in this area, we've got, there are models, but there are also some live creatures. So we've got arachnids. We've got some pill bugs, which is a really cool, well, it's just a picture of pill bugs, but certainly there's some of the exhibits must have them in them. It's an isopod. It's related to shrimp. It's a little land shrimp. And there's the lobster right there. Lobster's really fun. What's interesting about lobsters is that I believe that they never they never stop growing. They never stop. Not only do they never stop growing, but I believe that all the reasons that we age, they don't. I don't know if we know why, but they do not succumb to old age for the same reasons that we do. Now, at some point, they may have trouble shedding once they get too big, and that could do them in, or disease can do them in, but they don't age like humans do. So they can live a very long time, and they can grow to be very, very large.
Did you know that there is a mammal that also does not, their rate of mortality does not have anything to do with their age?
No.
The naked mole rat.
Oh, okay, sure.
Does not age in the same way as other vertebrates.
So if I were to guess, I'm going to look this up real quick. I think the reason has to do with their telomeres.
I can't remember.
I'm going to do some quick Googling here. See, their metabolism doesn't decrease as they get older. Reproductivity doesn't change. Yep, it's all about the telomere. Okay, so think of a chromosome. What does a chromosome look like? It looks like, well, if you have like a X or Y, an X chromosome looks like an X, a Y chromosome looks like a Y. I'm going to go back to the lobster here.
No, a telomere looks like the little sticks that you use to connect Legos that have holes in them, like the Legos that have like an X-shaped hole. If you've ever played with Legos and you know what I'm talking about, that's what a telomere looks like.
Yes, and so what the telomere does is it caps the ends of the chromosomes, and it helps keep them together. Chromosome is DNA all tangled up, all bundled up. The telomere keeps that bundle together. Well, as you age and they are what's the word I'm looking for? Reproduce isn't the right word. But those telomeres shorten over time and the bundles become more unraveled. And that is what we attribute a lot of the signs of aging to. Well, there are some creatures like the lobster whose telomeres do not deteriorate or shrink over time. So they don't exhibit the same signs of aging that we do. This is a great section of the arthropod zoo. There's a crayfish in here, freshwater creatures. And then this is another, I'll give you, that's a living conservatory is over here. And we'll do a look through the living conservatory as well another time. So let me get back into Minecraft because this is what you're here for, right? Minecraft. And continue on with this. What did you say your favorite creature was in the arthropod zoo?
I like the mole crickets.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I mean, I like the isopods too, but there are isopods in almost all of the exhibits, if not all of the exhibits. Because isopods are excellent cleanup crew for exhibits. There are most of the exhibits in the museum are bioactive exhibits. All of the ones I ever worked with are bioactive, meaning that they have a whole ecosystem inside of the exhibit.
Yeah. So not all there are some like aquariums with fake plants.
Yeah, I don't know about the fish. I never worked with the fish, but I know that all of the reptile and amphibian exhibits
have live
plants and have live insects and things in them.
And that's important because they're in the wild, they're used to living in an ecosystem with its own food chain and food web that can do them in, but also is what keeps them healthy, have all the right types of bacteria growing in their environment. And so if you reproduce that in your terrarium, and especially in your aquarium, you have higher rates of success and healthier plants and animals as a result. Makes sense. I'm probably going to change this many times as I add the exhibits, find out that the dimensions don't work out well. Okay. So this is looks pretty close to right to me. I'm gonna add some lighting, just temporary lighting, because I know it doesn't look good when it's dark. That's looking better. Okay. All right. Oh, your bird is starting to look really good. That's good.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I get it. Okay, so now I need to see some pictures. Turn this off.
Like it fatter? Can't decide if I like it fatter or not. Maybe if I switch them. Skinnier towards the back, fatter towards the front.
Just looking at some photographs here, don't mind.
I think I like that better. So, Oropendula are also mimicking birds. So, like a mockingbird, or a parrot, or a raven, or a crow. They do mimicry, and one of the sounds that they make, we think, is an imitation of water drops dropping through the
Huh.
leaves, because it sounds like that drippy sound that that you hear with really big raindrops falling off of leaves onto stone.
That's funny. Any idea as to why they would make that sound?
I don't. There might be Oropendula biologists who do, but I don't. The name Oropendula also is a cool name. It's from the Latin. That's not their scientific name, that's their common name, but it comes from the Latin or the Spanish for their golden tails. So they have these beautiful golden tails that stick out the bottom. You can see in these pictures. And that's the oro. And then pendula is because they shake their tails, tick them back and forth when they're sitting on sticks.
They shake their tail feathers or something.
They shake their tail feathers, exactly.
That's great. Sounds familiar. And so, did you explain why they build the nests that they build?
Oh, it is mostly for to protect against predation. So they make these sort of sack nests to protect against predation, and also because the kinds of trees that they live in don't have a whole lot of what's a good word for it? They don't have a lot of like crossover in the branches.
Like
So,
sprawling branches?
They've got a lot of smaller branches that are further spread out.
Okay.
So it's especially way up high, which is where they like to live. There's a lot less space for little nests like a sparrow's nest.
Okay.
One of the other things, I learned this today when I was learning about these guys, is that they are in the same family as orioles. So orioles are their relatives. There are a couple of other weaver birds, or birds that create these woven nests on the planet. There are a lot in Africa. There are some more in South America. There are some in Asia. But these guys are all on their own. It's a very beneficial way of taking care of your babies.
It isn't easy to get into those nests.
No.
Unless you are that bird.
And even then, the babies have to sort of crawl out and then stick their mouths out. Have to crawl sort of halfway out. Hard to get in there.
So many other nests. It's really easy for the baby. It's too easy for the babies to get out.
Yes. They'll just fall right out.
Yeah. 5, 2. Is your sloth in our mod?
Yes, it is, and the sloth is in the glass sort of terrarium thing that we have in the whatchamacallit.
I don't know. I was gonna go ahead and just throw it in the tree here, see how it looks. Because we need to wrap this up. There's another
Yeah,
short
I need to
stream.
head home pretty.
Hmm.
I need to head home.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to call it a day here. There's this sloth. Let's see here. There it is. Okay. Look at it. Audrey made that. Looks great. Look at that little guy. There's our sloth. Well, yeah, like I said, another short stream today. However, if you would like to learn more about some of these topics, we do have a longer episode. Oh, I forget which number it is. All about rainforest. I think it's called Rainforest Rescue or something like that. Go back a few episodes. There's a whole playlist that you can check out of this stream, of this series. If you like it, you can check it out, and you can of course like and subscribe and all that. It all helps us. Any comments help us. Liking helps us as well. But
Great. Yep.
yeah, that's it. So if you all have any questions, again, add them in the comments. I'm Matthew.
I'm Audrey.
And we will see you next week. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye, y'all.